back, everybody, to the World Championship Series. This is the Global Finals, and we take another step towards BlizzCon. It's just a couple of days away, and we are looking to find 8 of the very best StarCraft 2 players. And it's time for another game in the round of 16. On the couch, once again, is, of course, TLU.
Hey.
And in control, and our best of friends. Hello, mate. Hello.
Well met.
Welcome. How you doing? You had a good day so far?
Yeah, it's been great. The last series was a real nail biter.
Was that the highlight of your day, perhaps, or
Was it the best part of your day?
yeah?
The best part of my day was waking up in the morning and coming over here and seeing you guys. It's friendship. There you go.
Well, man, I mean, we can only do better than that. You know what I mean?
What was the best part of your day, Jeff?
Best part of my day was realizing that StarCraft is being celebrated on one of the finest stages by one of the best gaming companies in the whole world, and that we get to watch the replays through Windows 10 DVR, and that we have such amazing sponsors that we can that we can do this thing. I just think that's amazing.
And Dario, for you, what's your highlight of the day so far, my friend?
My highlight of the day has been that I haven't been disagreeing so much with Jeff. Like,
we've been really in sync with this.
Yeah, like this shows that we're coming together at
Yeah.
this pinnacle of gaming.
Friendship.
At the end of the day, it is friendship. Yes. Thank you very much, boys. So let's take a look at the bracket as we're getting closer and closer towards finalizing that top 8, and only a couple of games remain. There's 2 matches left. The one coming up is Hydra versus Dream. We'll talk about that in a second. And then a little bit later on, to wrap up the evening, we have a Jin Air match between Maru and Rogue. We'll see which 2 players will be joining the 6 that we already have. Now, focusing on the match at hand here, before we hear the thoughts from the players, Hydra versus Dream. Nathanius, I know you're a massive Terran fan.
Yeah.
You've got the T-shirt on.
In fact, that's why they took him off the cast, is so that his bias wouldn't shine through, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you had to cast the PvP. But back here talking about Terrans, surely you must be really excited to see this guy play. Dream.
Yeah. It's pretty conflicting for me. I mean,
Okay.
for obvious, it's not a secret. You know, like sure, I love to watch great Terrans play. I don't think it'll be
Is he not your favorite up there? I mean,
What's your favorite part about Dream's play, do you think?
probably the building SCVs, dropping mules, cornerstones.
So how does that differentiate himself from any Terran?
He did it well enough to make it to the top 16 here at the Global Finals. I mean, personally, when I compare Dream to another Terran, for example, easiest one is Innovation. Obviously not as mechanically brilliant. He's not a robot, but he's a little bit more creative with the play. I wouldn't be surprised to see him mix it up with a bit of bio. Definitely wouldn't be surprised to see some good mech play, whereas Innovation would rather just force Marines down his throat until he killed him. So I like that. I'm just conflicted because I'm also a big Hydra fan. So.
That root connection.
Yeah, the root connection.
Let's talk a little bit about Hydra before we do hear the players' thoughts. You played with Hydra in WCS. You followed him throughout the year, obviously playing in the same league as him. What are your thoughts of his achievement getting to the Global Finals?
Well, I mean, from a foreigner perspective, he's obviously top of the guard. It's very difficult for a non-Korean to beat him, but I feel that here he is a little bit outclassed. He's an extremely solid player, but the question is his level of solid strong enough to really make it through here? And I'm just looking forward to the matches because CVT is by far my favorite matchup. But I'm a little bit afraid it's going to be a bit of a stump.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tilo and boys. Let's have a look at what the players thought about this upcoming match.
My name is Dongwon Shin. I play games for Root Gaming now. I got 2nd place in WCS Season 1 and I got 1st place in WCS Season 2.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 SK텔레콤 T1의 테란 드림이라는 아이를 쓰고 있는 조중혁입니다. 올해는 SSL 시즌 1과 2를 연달아 준우승하면서 우승을 못 해봤기 때문에 블리즈컨을 우승하기 위해서 나왔습니다.
My most memorable match is when I won against Lilbo at WCS Season 2 final. There were many crowds in Toronto. Yeah, I was pretty happy about that win.
SSL 시즌 1에서 성주한테 졌거든요, 결승전에서. 그래서 대갚아주고 싶었는데 프로리그 결승전에서 조성주 선수와 한 경기 이기면서 또 팀도 우승을 했기 때문에 가장 좋았던 기억인 것 같아요. 신동원 선수 상대로 현재 준비는 완벽하게 됐고
Dream has been doing really well since he moved to SK team.
SK 오면서 많이 바뀐 것 같아요. 제 실력도 그렇고 일단 SK텔레콤 T1에게 감사한 마음이 크고
Yeah, his TVG match is very impressive. I've been winning against him since when I was in Caspar team. Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
신동원 선수가 제 첫 상대인 걸 알게 된 후에 그때부터 이미 저는 이겼다 생각했고 준비 많이 해오시면 한 세트 정도 따실 수 있을 것 같아요.
I've been prepared a few strategies for this BlizzCon, so you will realize that winning against me is the dream.
I'm personally very excited about this one, but listening to both of them, I can't help but feel Dream, you know, this kind of creation from SK Telecom has now been sent forth into BlizzCon, and they're like, go show them what you've done for months and months and months at BlizzCon. And I'm starting to get a bit worried here for Hydra. I know Hydra did show some confidence there, Nathanius, but
obviously, going by the recent results and just Dream being a guy that a year ago, you talk about top Terran players. I mean, the last few years, really for Heart of the Storm in general, it's been people talking about innovation, Maru, those guys. Dream really stepped it up. A few other players that people maybe would have put above him at the beginning of the year or towards the end of last year, like MKP, fell down a bit. And Dream just hasn't been as much of a loudmouth as those guys.
It feels a little bit scary, Jeff, to think that Dream was brought on to SK Telecom with promise of being good, to be a training partner for the greats of that team, and now to, over 12 months, transform into one of their greats.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just have to start paying so much respect to just the system that they have going on over there. Their guys just are churning out results, and it definitely looks like a team that is well coached, well organized, and they're unified in their practice. Like, I think you actually kind of had a slip of the tongue that's so appropriate. You said SK Telefarm. It's like, yeah, man, they are a farm system, and if you go in there, you're going to come out good. And Hydra's got his hands full. I mean, we can see him here on camera. We know that he's been practicing the NA scene. He's still had really good results. He does come from the Kespa team, but does he have what it takes to take on this guy right here, who's become kind of a juggernaut of practice over there in that SKT1 system, which has produced himself into all of a sudden a guy that's challenging these tournaments?
Yeah, second place in Star League twice is unbelievable. It's a great feat for him to have. Would you say that that is a stronger performance than what we've seen from Hydra this year?
Oh yeah,
Surely
definitely,
is, right?
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, did you really want to try to fish for a disagreement there?
Tried my best, but it didn't work.
You got an agreement out of Dario, though, which I think is actually a huge victory.
A bigger feat. But, you know, Hydra is representing WCS. Here's the map pool here, TLO. And as our specialist when it comes to this matchup, and Zerg, what's your thoughts?
I think that looks pretty standard. Dash and Terminal and Bridgehead being vetoed isn't that big of a surprise. It's usually between Dash and Terminal, Bridgehead, and Moonlight Madness. So really, CVT is a stable standard matchup. We have two 4-player maps, which is kind of interesting, but I don't think we're going to have any big surprises except on Moonlight Madness, where it can go a little bit crazy with the cliff and everything.
All right, well, the first map is going to be Terraform. Are we expecting throughout this series to be a very standardized Terran versus Zerg, or expecting a little bit of a change-up from potentially both sides?
I think it's going to look pretty standard. I mean, people can always decide to throw down T-Rex, which is probably still one of the strongest build orders out there that is, in my opinion, a little bit underused lately, but I don't think Dream is going to think that's necessary for him to take the match, so I believe that's unlikely. And the Zerg options when it comes to cheese are quite limited nowadays. So
well, I just had the opportunity to hang out a little bit with Katz. He's been getting some jokes here. Here's some love. He is the owner and captain of that root team, and he is actually known for helping kind of developing strategies. And he definitely said that he was working with Hydra to kind of plan for this. And that's kind of, again, I really like this format where these guys for several weeks knew who they were facing. And if Hydra can, you know, we all kind of, I think, agree, in general, he is the underdog. Well, okay. Then one of the things we've talked about all day long so far is if you are that underdog, come up with something. You don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel, but you should throw a couple of weird moves out there to throw them off.
What possibly could Katz have done to assist Hydra coming into this, though, going up against Dream? I mean, to rattle a couple of things off.
So clever.
So creative. But
The
how
weird thing
creative?
is, I feel like for ZVT, when you're playing against an opponent better than you, you rarely see Zergs do weird stuff. Like, there's only so many things, especially against Terran. Like, I feel like as far as like proxies or gold bases or anything like that goes, usually more effective against
Yeah.
Protoss. I think Hydra just has to. I feel like you have really no option other than to try to play straight up and just outplay him. Like, there's not many other moves you can do.
I agree, and especially if you're not practicing with people
What did you say?
on like an insanely high level, like Dream. Let me make my point. The thing is, if you have a weird build order, it can go so bad so quickly, because if you make one mistake in the early game where the Reapers or Hellions do a little bit of damage and you deviate it from the standard build, you just die right away. Like,
Yeah, well, I agree in spirit, but I do actually think there are a few things you can do in ZVT that are a little bit different. We've seen, like Violet in the past, WCS go more Baneling heavy with just a few mutalisks to try to throw off the composition. We've seen Roach stuff from Hyun, who almost came to Dream, or well, he went to DreamHack, but he almost came here to BlizzCon. There are a couple of things you can do, but otherwise, I do agree as far as the matchup goes, it's probably one of the least cheesy ones in terms of build diversity.
Okay, let's have a look at the predictions then for us four and also the commentary team for this one. Where have we put our alliances? Everyone but Todd has chosen Dream. Todd has faith in Hydra to be able to take this one out. Is it going to work though?
Did they actually pick Dream?
Isn't Todd at the bottom of the predictions?
He
and
is.
things?
He is.
Okay.
He's looking to turn it around.
All right. Do I need to say more?
No, you don't.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so,
you didn't pick your teammate, though. That's kind of interesting, right?
Well, I personally think that the problem here is that Hydra, as good as he is, he doesn't have, from what I've seen, any strategies that are explosive enough or weird stuff. He doesn't do like Violet strategies, you know? He doesn't have life slings. He's better than most Zergs, sure, but he's also not going to throw out, you know, in my experience, what I've seen, a crazy Nidus build. He's going to play straight up, and I think straight up, Dream's going to beat him.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we all agree that this is going to be a very difficult one for Hydra, but yeah, you got the nod of
we all
approval. Do
agree?
we all agree? Sorry, I shouldn't speak on behalf of you, but
Let me think about it.
Friendship?
friendship.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, Sean,
so
I
we-
think I'm on the same page.
Okay, so we'd all agree that
got
this
that.
is going to be a difficult one for Hydra, but how difficult is it really going to be? Can he put up a fight against Dream? It's going to be a hard one. It's time to go for the commentary team for the 7th round of 16 match.
Thank you very much. With Hydra here, a man who has embraced the WCS culture, who moved here, participated and advanced through to this spot through the WCS. This is quite the challenge in Dream. 2-time back-to-back SSL runner-up. It doesn't get much stronger than that when it comes from Korea.
Yeah, he's definitely been doing really well, and I feel like that's why a lot of people give him credit and think he's going to be a favorite here, but I think otherwise. I'll elaborate a little bit more, though, on this during the game.
Yeah. All right, then. We'll get into it. Game number 1 on the way for our first ZVT of the day. I am excited for this one. One of the best matchups here in StarCraft 2 as Dream and Hydra face off against one another, and we will be on Terraform. To the bottom right-hand corner, it's our blue Terran representing SK Telecom T1. It is Dream.
Dream has won $55,000 in his StarCraft 2 career, 36 of which were this year.
Wow. He's really done very well with SK Telecom, that's for sure. And then up to the top left-hand corner, we have our red Zerg representing Team Root. It is Hydra.
An MSL winner in Brood War. He's won over $150,000 in his career. 63 of those were in Brood War, 88 in StarCraft 2. Definitely doing a lot better in StarCraft 2, but now he's facing this man here, Dream. He's going to be going for a cheeky build in map number 1, which Hydra seemingly was aware could be possible. So he's going to be scouting, and he's going to know very quickly here what's going on. So he should just be opening very safe with the pull first.
Yeah, usually the second Overlord from a Zerg would head over towards his opponent's base and see what's going on. Likewise, though, this drone has already spotted kind of what is going on. So the second Overlord from Dream is actually heading up in a direction that he thought, for Hydra, that he thought might be the location of this barrack. So this is very, very clever by him.
Hydra is going into this series with a 3-0 record over Dream. He's never lost to him, but all of those games were last year. And that still gives him a bit of confidence, you know. I had the chance to speak with him before his match, and he told me that Zerg vs Tian is still his favorite matchup, and he's got confidence from always beating Dream. In the past, he thinks that Dream style is most of the time grid in early games with very good micro later on when you have to split Marines and all that. So he's very well aware of the strength and weaknesses of his opponent in this case.
So don't forget, guys, to go on Twitter and hashtag Dream or hashtag Hydra with the hashtag WCS at StarCraft. Join in the conversation and tell us who you think is going to win this one out. Already we have moves being made here with these Reapers trying to get out. But Hydra is well aware of what was going on and has compensated with plenty of lings to make sure he's not going to lose too many drones.
And Dream, on the other hand, he has a 60% win rate versus Zerg, but in his last 10 matches versus top-tier Korean Zergs, he only won 4. So he actually hasn't been doing that well against Zerg.
Second Reaper's on the way now. As Dream's going to use this to try and kill off usually just Zerglings more so than anything now, considering how many are out and about. Tried to go for the drone shot there for a moment, but didn't really get too much done. It's when these Reapers usually pile up that you can start pressuring the Queens and stuff like that, but it's only 2 at the moment with no commitment to more. So Dream is going back to eco-friendly.
Dream kind of reminds me of Bjol in a sense that he's a player that's done really well this year. He's going to this tournament as a lot of hype, but remember what happened to Bjol. He completely crashed and burned here in the biggest and most important tournament of the year. So is Dream going to follow in his footsteps? I hope for him not. I hope he's going to play better.
And then is Hydra the same caliber of player as Classic is the big question to that as well. I mean, Hydra, for all intents and purposes, yes, on the WCS stage, has done very well for himself, but he's only really had the likes of Polt to rival him, and then obviously Little Bo as well nowadays, of course. And that didn't end too well here at the moment. Let's not talk about that one.
Too soon.
All right, well, plenty of lings were able to shoot that away, but at least the Reapers did force all those lings to be made. At the moment, they're not really that useful, considering what Dream has over the other side, which is this starport on the way, because he had so much gas coming in early on. But all of this has been spotted here for Hydra, so at least he knows exactly what's happening behind the small pokes of aggression early on.
Yeah, I really like the situation here for Hydra, you know, being able to scout this early, seeing what he was up against, going for safe speed. Now he's going to be able to drone up for a very long time. He's already on 28 to 22 SCVs. Behind this, he can, usually Hydra, he goes for a pretty quick third base. Drops down evolution chambers, takes to Mutas, gets bailing speed very quickly. He does everything on, he's almost like a Zerg version of Bolt in that regard. As in, he gets everything perfectly on time, going with his upgrades and all that.
Is there a world where Hydra slows down his third base because he's seen everything Dream's doing? And well, apparently not. But there are going to be Hellions, there are going to be Widowmines on the way as well. So there is the potential that Hydra could take damage here if he's not like really paying attention to these locations, right?
Yeah, definitely. The thing about Hydra though is that he's just so solid that he doesn't usually need to do anything fancy. Usually, you know, he starts his lair like he does now after his third base, and he has a bailing nest on time that will finish before the lair finishes, and then he starts bailing speed and spire almost every time immediately. His evolution chamber timings, they vary depending on, I guess, how much he wants to commit first for Mutas or even Zergling and bailings. And so far, I don't think we've had any of those made just yet.
These are heading across, and there's nothing out towards the third at all just yet. So this is Reapers with Widowmines, not exactly the most common of drops at all. I'm not really sure they could do too much here with the lings right underneath them. They're going to try and already drop a few of these units on. The Reaper's job really is to buy time for them to burrow, and actually that's a great hit to start things off. Only 2 drones go down to the second shot, so overall really wants to get out of there, but he loses the medevac in the end.
Yeah, with 1 Widowmine in it. Oh, the Spire is actually going to be made in front of that Reaper. No care in the world here, Hydra.
It's a little bit of intel, that's for sure. He got a lot of the links, so now he's going to have to reproduce those to deal with the Hellions.
He's not getting an Overseer for that Widowmine. Why is he not?
Is it just going to go off again?
Yeah. And kill 2 drones, maybe?
It was actually specifically targeted there, so 3 do go down.
That's not good here. And there isn't really that many links here to deal with this, so it's just going to be the Queens. More drones are going to die here. Dream managing to do a little bit of damage here.
Yeah, definitely got some work done, that's for sure. 7 workers end up going down, so slowing the Hydra down a little bit, and the Banshee follow-up as well. But there are plenty of Queens here to hold that off and halt it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's Cloak. He wouldn't need an Overseer there with it anyway. So.
And behind this double E base gonna start. We got a Polt Viking here that just came out, I believe, and he's gonna be able to kill a bunch of Overlords around there. A Spore is being forced at the third base. Hydra with still no evolution chambers, no bailing nest. Going exclusively for Mutas and Zerglings here so far with the support of the Queens that he's got. Interesting.
for gas guys at the moment. Hasn't thrown down his 5th and 6th just yet towards that 3rd base, because realistically it hasn't even been that active. That's a good timing on the Overseer, morphing it in just before it dies off, so he'll get some guaranteed intel here and distract that Viking for a little bit longer.
Yeah, the double evolution chamber finally starts here for Hydra. That's pretty late. He starts that as 1-1 is already on the way here for Dream. So huge commitment on that Spire tech, and already 8 Mutas in production here.
Yeah, I really like the use of that Overseer. For the most part, unless the Mutalisks are being very, very aggressive, that was going to be his last intel for a little while during this. And actually, he is going to be using the Mutalisks aggressively, so he doesn't feel pinned back too much at all by Dream. Is Dream fully on lockdown at the moment? He's getting his missile turrets up just the right time.
By the way, Hydra's creep spread, whether there is action or not, is absolutely unreal in this matchup. He's so fast with it. It doesn't matter what pace there is in the game, he's almost always going to be able to keep up with it and to go across the map very quickly. So Dream's going to have to be the one also that's active. Whoa, these Mulas are committing a lot here to aggression. So many of them have died here. What is going on?
The Marines were dying in interesting ways to glaive worms then.
He lost 4 Mutas to just kill a few Marines.
I'm not used to seeing that, but well, regardless, do have all these upgrades lining up now. And the armor is going down, so he really wants to start his 2-2 as soon as that 1-1 finishes up. Dream is trying to iron out all the little kinks here and just play his own game on his side of the map. But whilst he's doing that, he's not really applying any pressure. This is giving Hydra on the other side room to take his 4th whenever he wants. All this creep is just extending out as much as he likes. So there's no kind of pushback here from Dream just yet, where he really needs pushback against Zerg.
Yeah, Hydra from there, with getting the macro hatch on his 3rd base and getting the extra base, if that can properly kick in and he's able to set up a 4th base comfortably, he's going to be in a great position. That's really going to be for Dream to try and disrupt that as much as possible.
But right now, there's no hint of it, so he really needs to kind of get that ramped up pretty soon.
It's too early.
Get that 2-2 going as well.
Absolutely, as Hydra will be catching up here to the 1-1 upgrades that his opponent already has here. 2nd factory is going down here for Dream, and the natural he's going to want to play with quite a few Widow Mines here, I'm guessing. 11
Banelings morphing in here, whilst his counterattack's going on. A good move here by Hydra to really catch Dream off guard. That bunker, yes, was very heavily bunkered down by the fact that
so many Banelings are morphing across the map here, just behind the rocks, and I don't think Dream's ready for this
Widow Mines need to set up in good spots here, but at the same time, they're extending quite far. So one is already going to die off. There is another one there that's available to him. There's the separation up, but the Banelings do a good job of cleaning up everything.
Oh, nice detonation here on that last Widow Mine, but having lost quite a few SCVs here across the map and having been pushed back like this, Hydra certainly behind this can set up very nicely on his new base.
Yeah, it's a good start for him.
He shouldn't overextend.
He's going into a lot of Marines there. I'm not sure he wants to be going much further forwards. There's 2 Widow Mines there as well that actually don't do a huge amount, and there's not that many Marines left over. Hydra has just chased back through the mineral lines and chased back all the way to them. This is pretty crazy.
What's up, Couch? I hope you guys are watching this with your predictions, because Hydra right now is definitely taking the fight here to Dream, killing more and more SCVs, pulling really far ahead in supply. He's got so much minerals and gas as well behind this.
Yeah, there's a lot more Zerglings in production, but he's going to be pushed away for now with the extra Marines that do come out. But you're right, I mean, the 3rd base was ravaged for the most part, and he hasn't had economy during that, while the 4th base is still set up to the bottom left. Not exactly mining, but set up and ready to go whenever he needs it.
Dream started his armor upgrade here for his infantry armor very, very late in comparison to his attack. And I think he should just try to sit down here a little bit longer before moving out again, because Hydra just has so many units. He might actually be the one to attack here in a second. I think Hydra, when he realizes that he has a nice supply lead like this, he plays just like the Protosses that we've seen, in particular in PvP, you know, doing a lot of those attacks to try and do some damage instead of just letting the opponent crawl back or crawl their way back into the game. And look at this. Zerglings and Banelings are setting up to attack the 3rd base here.
Once again, these whoa, that is a lot of units, actually, and the Widow Mines don't have any charges, really, just one down towards the bottom left, but that's a ton of Banelings, and that is going to be GG. Hydra takes game number 1 here, but it really felt like Dream really wasn't pressing any kind of moves at all, or putting on any pressure whatsoever through towards the mid-game. After the Hellions and Banshees had tickled around a little bit, there was nothing more from there.
Dream in that first map here, he reminded me of Bjorn even more, because again, he was going to this match with so much hype with the performances that he's put, I guess, out there so far this year, and he completely crashed and burned here in map number 1. Hydra wouldn't have any of it.
Hydra left to his own devices is absolutely able to run over Dream there in game number 1. The next map is going to be Moonlight Madness here. So Hydra with the first win on the board, saying, doesn't matter if I play in WCS, man. It doesn't matter if I'm not in Korea, I'm still able to hang with you guys. And Dream, gonna have to have a wake-up call there.
Absolutely, he's gonna need to do a lot better than this, that's for damn sure. I mean, he moved across the map with a chunk of army, knowing that there was Zerglings across the map, got completely pushed back, and then behind his Hydra was just so far ahead in supply, he knew they was gonna be able to attack and close it out. I don't even think there was particularly any mistakes in terms of build order. It's just like the entire game, Hydra played better. He always knew what he was up against exactly. And that opener, I guess, that initial opener, maybe putting him a little bit behind, but in the end, it's really like from the mid game where I don't think he should have moved out against these Lynx. He should have just been back at home ready to defend. He didn't see it coming. And against somebody like Hydra, you can't have that kind of mistake ever happen. It's just like when you play against Live, you know, like if his Lynx get in, you're going to be in trouble. And in this case, Dream just wasn't ready.
Yeah, he has good map awareness, and on a map like Terraform, you're almost always going to get backstabbed if you do move through the middle of the map like that, so nonchalantly. And like, yeah, I've got a cool army, I think I'm going to be able to do something over the other side. No, probably not, because Zerglings have speed, and they're pretty fast. So it's quite the good tool for counterattacks. But anyway, looks like we're getting into game number 2 here. It will be Moonlight Madness between these. So Dream and Hydra. Once again, as Hydra takes a very long blink there, getting into game number 2. We do have spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It is our blue Terran representing SK Telecom T1. It is Dream,
who after facing a Zerg that drone scouted in map number 1, should think twice before trying anything like that, but guess what?
Oh, yeah. And spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Zerg representing Root Gaming. It is Hydra. Had the pleasure of casting him a whole lot this year, and it's always been a treat.
This is the classic mind game here by Dream, of saying he drone scouted last game, he's not gonna do it again, especially since he scouted a proxy. So this time, if he doesn't scout for it, if he goes for a little bit of greedier build with a hatchery first, maybe even with an extractor after and then a pull, I'm gonna be able to do quite a bit of damage here with my proxy Reaper. And so far Hydra is pretty much looking like he wants to go for a hatchery. Yeah, on 15, yeah, he's gonna send out that drone, so this is pretty bad here right now for him. Unless he can see this earlier, he at least needs to drop that pull here next and not to go for an extractor, which by the look of things may be the case.
Or does he? Sometimes you see the Overlord rerouted, the second one, just in case he's sniffing something out, but it's not to be the case just yet. There is that SCV just peeking at the very edge of this, but I don't think this Overlord... Oh,
he's gonna see it.
Okay, so he's
sees it,
skirts across.
Pull is already on the way here, so Hydra, he's gonna drop down an extractor immediately. I think he realized that if he holds this here decently behind this, having speed is gonna be detrimental to have some counter-attacking capability, shutting down these Reapers completely.
He doesn't have vision of that, actually. He doesn't have vision of it because of the creep not granting full vision of exactly where it goes. And the hatchery is really where the epicenter of the vision comes from. So this Reaper could be pretty annoying, actually.
This could mean disaster here for Hydra, who's now getting an Overlord, saving his lava for the Zerglings here. That's going to be starting in a second, but first Reaper is now out and almost reaching his base.
Yeah. This is quite irritating for him. And also, Dream realizes the potential of a counterattack later on, starts his war with the supply depots. First Reaper is here, second one will follow up. The 6 Zerglings on the way that will try and shoo this away, and most importantly, buy time for the Queen. So, starting Spore Crawlers here to try and save as many drones as possible. He knows those ones are weak in there. Gets himself a drone. Will he get any more? This SCV was there to try and help.
Oops.
Oh, were they almost done?
Yeah.
But here's the second Reaper now, and this is where things get really, really irritating.
3 Queens were good here a second ago. Hydra is not going to cancel one of those in the main. Get the one in natural instead here.
Once the one in the main pops out, that helps things a whole lot here. Doesn't want to be losing any more drones at all. The Zerglings are slightly expendable, but the problem is he still needs more to break the bunker, importantly.
This is definitely doing a ton of damage here. Forcing so many units, being able to Kill a few drones here as well. He's already killed 2.
This is ideally what he wanted from game 1. This was the kind of go-to game plan. Even a 3rd Reaper jumping up. In the game 1, he actually sacrificed or pulled back after 2 Reapers, realizing it wasn't going to get much done more at all. But
yeah, this is just great here for Dream. He's got so many more SCVs now. 17 to 12 drones. He can just start a command center behind this, and he's going to have his factory finish in a second.
It still lings in production here for Hydra. So actually, you know, he might just go crazy ham and get aggressive after this, considering how much he's lost. But let's see if he does.
Oh, these Reapers, they got so many kills.
They're still going. They're still going. There's 12 more lings in production.
Just like Roddy in the club, they are not ready to give up until last call.
And Lingzi were even sent across here, but the wall-off is full. And now he goes back into droning, but he's so far behind from that spot.
Oh, that speed cannot finish soon enough here for Hydra. He wants to shut this down. Ideally, he wants to get across the map and do some proper damage. Right now, going to town on this wall here of Dream, but with the first Hellion coming out, that's going to be those links chased away. I feel like Hydra needs like a miracle. He needs some kind of life backdoor entry with the Zerglings in the main, and even then, like, there'd actually be units there to defend.
So during all of this, what has Dream done behind it? Has he gone into Starport as well? Is that what he's doing? So yeah, he's almost doing exactly the same, aside from kind of changing from the Widowmice, just going to Hellions. But all of these knock-on effects now, nice catch, are going to hurt Hydra even more. And this could have easily been the same as last game, but...
Yeah. Going for a Medivac here instead of a Viking or a Banshee, the Overlord actually spots that here. Sees that it's either going to be a Medivac or a Viking. This is pretty good here for Hydra to be able to know that there could be some kind of Hellion drop down the line. He's still moving across the map with a bunch of his links here.
The Hellion drop's scary in itself. Obviously, he needs to be keeping some units back. That's why the bunker's there. He realizes that his opponent actually made a whole lot of links to try and get out of that situation. So in the off chance that he does use those aggressively, he does need some defense. Sees it already, sees a few.
Oh, he's gonna drop behind.
Oh, well.
If the Zerglings on the left-hand side would have been there, could have forced to pick up here, but Hydra now, those links are gonna be trapped and killed. He's buying some time though, to get more units back at home, more queens. The Spore got cancelled as well. Hydra was getting a Spore in his natural. I think he realized there was not gonna be any kind of Banshee, so he just cancels that. That's really smart.
Yeah. I would have argued even just building the Starport just a little further away so you don't have the Zerglings actually poking up and seeing exactly what's going on.
There was an Overlord in there for a long time anyway, because there was no entire... Yeah, he just flew away.
Never mind them, never mind.
And now the Vikings is going to hunt down all of these Overlords. But actually misses the 2 ones that were near Dream's base here.
If he kills off those lings, if they overextend beyond the queens, then this could get really, really sticky right now.
Roach Warren's on the way. There's a chance Hydra gets a little bit desperate here.
Lots of free damage, so much free damage, and he doesn't have energy for transfuses there at all.
With how far behind he's fell here, Hydra, I really feel like there is a good chance he might just be going for an attack. Gets a surround here on these Hellions.
That was really well done
and
there
that Queen.
Hydra. Ooh,
doing so much damage on the Medivac.
And you will be able to get away with that in the end. Still more Hellions are going to follow up here. Stim is on the way.
Nidus! Oh, that's what I thought. With this lair this quickly and then the Roach Warren behind it, he starts a Nidus in a position where he thinks that no Medivac will be flying and there will not be a scan either. Would be crazy if that Viking, just flies right into there.
Saw the Roach Warren behind it, although, as well. So I wonder if Dream is going to be able to fully read into this.
He's going to attack at the front door here, and there's actually not that many units here for Hydra. He needs, ideally, to crush this, drops down the Nidus across the map, and then finish it behind this. But there's so many units here for Dream.
Yeah, he needs those 6 Roaches out right now. That's a lot of Hellbats already barreling down on towards this position. The Roaches pop out. He sees the Nidus Worm behind it as well. But at this point in time, Hydra isn't even thinking about the Nidus Worm. He is thinking about trying to keep himself alive against these Hellbats. They do so much damage. The Roaches will eventually chew them down, yes, but more importantly, the Hellbats are healed by the Medivacs in the sky as well. Even though they are mechanical, he's actually making the Nidus while this is going on. The SCVs have been pulled off to try and get it, and there was drones in there of all things.
Yeah, he was trying to save them here, not to send them with the Nidus across the map, I think, which actually gets killed before it can do anything. Dream having been able to spot this, Hydra is just going to be in so much trouble.
One of the Medivacs got killed off by a Spore Crawler there, and actually another Nidus going down slightly out of range, and this still does have the potential of 11 or 13 Roaches even, I should say, as a threat, so...
Yeah, he's going to unload there, march into the main of Dream, and then make another one. And Dream, surprisingly, he's not taking down those rocks. He just wants to fight this, I think.
On the Roaches.
He could have killed the rocks and bought himself a lot of time.
Widowmines can set up. At least he's got himself 2 Marauders as well to help out this situation, but it's not exactly the easiest situation when there's that many Roaches, though. Widowmines did a lot of damage, though, to the front lines of those Roaches. That is going to hurt out. Also, there's still damage being done towards the mineral line.
Hydra wasn't paying attention in the main.
Oh, this is a crazy, crazy game at the moment. Just trying to kill off as many drones as possible. SCV's dying on the other side as well. Here, that landed Viking somehow doing something here at the last tournament the Swarm. At the same time, the Roaches are almost all going to die off. Marauders load back into this bunker, so they're going to keep themselves alive for a long time. There's only 3 Roaches properly left. And they're going to fall to SCVs, but he killed off 17 workers. It's keeping him back in this game, but it's not enough. GG. Dream will take the second and tie up this series 1-1, Todd.
And right now, Hydra, this has to be a really annoying game to lose. After he scouted perfectly map number 1, the proxy that was happening, in map number 2, he thinks that there is no chance that Dream's going to be going for the same thing because he was defending in map number 1, doesn't scout for it, dies to it, takes way too much damage, finds himself behind, goes for a desperate build, which in this time around just didn't work.
And moving into the Windows 10 game DVR replay here, you can already see the moments at the start of that second game that really spelled a lot of doom here for Hydra. I mean, having a bunker to have to deal with this, and also being down on workers and having to commit so much lava to these Zerglings, all importantly. I mean, if we were able to look at the resources lost tab at this point, he's lost so much just in Zerglings alone.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, 19 SCVs to 12 drones usually means it's bad news for the Zerg. Even those Reapers, I mean, they stayed alive for a very long time. They were kiting the whole time in the main, killing more and more links, being super annoying. And Hydra, this was just a disaster of an opener. There was no recovery possible almost ever here for him.
And then moving on towards this point where he's spots the Nidus Worm. I mean,
Dream, he probably had a laugh when he saw the Nidus here. He's like, you want to Nidus me? Try surviving for a minute back at home first.
Exactly. It was a bit of a scramble for the survival here. And he was even Nidusing while this was going on. So I really did like the evacuation of the drones into the Nidus just to save them from being damaged. That was a really cool little touch here for Hydra. It's like a safe house almost while all of that is going on.
A Nidus, a safe house.
I always thought it was a cool idea in the past. Just put a Nidus behind your mineral line, and if you get dropped, just have a shoo them into it and just hide them. But then the Nidus Worm dies and they're all gone. But anyway, I'm a sadistic person.
And then we talk about creativity on the couch. It's all you, Kailaris.
I swear TLO's probably theorized that in the past. No doubt, no doubt.
And then realized it was a terrible idea and never did it. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm a caster, not a player. But oh well. We are loading up into Cactus Valley here for game number 3. And obviously, we've seen a lot of epic TVZs on this map. And we get cross spawns as well here. Not guaranteed, obviously, by this, but we have already loaded up into the game. So we're going to be getting into that soon. But we do have cross spawns for Dream versus Hydra, and that's exactly what I want here on TVZ. A big, long slug match on this map. And see exactly how it is going to play out between these two. Spawning to the bottom left-hand corner, we have our blue Terran representing SK Telecom T1. It is Dream.
Is he going to be proxying again on a 4-player map? Left, middle of the map.
Let's ignore that bit. And then up to the top right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg representing Team Root. It is Hydra.
Is he gonna drone scout on a 4-player map?
Dun, dun, dun. Everything goes out of the window.
One of Hydra's latest match against Terran was when he played against Kelazur in the WCS group stage. And when they played on Cactus Valley, Hydra just played pretty standard. I'm guessing he felt a lot more confidence in particular against Kelazur than he does here against his opponent Dream. He went for a standard hatch 15, pull 15, drop down a gas, took a third base just before the 6 minute. That's usually his go-to build. And then drops down double evo around minute 7, goes for Baneling Nest and all that, and then follows it up with everything, you know, super smoothly. All of his upgrades goes into Mutas. Just plays a solid ZVT. That's, I think, what Hydra wants overall here. He doesn't need to play fancy, he doesn't need to play risky, or do special builds. The Catch tried to talk about this a little bit, you know, and against Terran it's really hard to try, you know, crazy all-in special stuff. A lot of the time the Terran's going to be able to see it and defend it properly.
And for now, we'll see how Dream is going to be able to play out against Hydra, who were considered to be not exactly the tip top of the WCS caliber players that we have here in the round of 16. But Hydra already showed in that first game that he's able to shut down Dream pretty hard when it comes to some of the longer states in these games. And Dream...
Hydra's going to be pretty happy to see his cross map here in a second. Especially with his style, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think so.
So far, he's done his standard build, by the way, with Hatch, Pull, Gas.
At the same time, though, we haven't really seen Dream open up the macro taps, to be honest, which is something that I would like to see.
Game 1, he fell behind initially and then died later on. Game 2, he got ahead and then won later on. So now maybe it's time for a little bit more of a regular game when nobody takes damage very early on.
Already seeing that a lot of people out there are favoring Hydra to win this one. A lot of fans that he's accrued over the year, that's for sure, as he did embrace the culture and everything about America and learn English so fast.
I mean, he lives in California. He's definitely got a lot of fans, you know, by living there. He also, I guess, represents that region a little bit. Kind of like Bolt. Hydra is the Wonder Woman to Bolt's Captain America.
The Wonder Woman.
Maybe you wouldn't like that.
I'm sure I'll love that one, yeah, that would be funny. But the full wall off does finish up here for Dream. And even just getting in that command center good to go. There's already a few Lings on the way here, so this SCV is in a bit of bother.
I think Hydra is going to be very comfortable here with what he sees. He sees that this so far will be a standard game. Might be able to get a kill, actually, that SCV. And Marine could be trapped outside. He's going to get into the main. See that exact timing here on that factory as well.
Trying to save as much as possible. A few SCVs come off the line to try and help the Marine, but they don't get it.
Or is he not just killing the SCV?
I don't know. Could have turned around and got a bomb. I mean, because now they're just guaranteed to die, right? So, but he wants to keep them alive as long as possible.
He wants to see if a starport starts, I think. And speed is also not too far off, so if you could keep some of those alive and then just keep on running around. He also forced a lot of SCVs not to mine for a very long time here, which is a great win. Income-wise, Dream not doing that well up until a mule lands.
And he still gets the intel because he was just waiting for speed to start.
The double gas is also a huge info here.
Good stuff by Hydra. Good stuff to get in and to get all that overall.
Hydra starts his third base around the 6th minute here. Pretty much as always.
Yeah.
And usually double Evo follows this up if he's confident enough. Lair's gonna start now as well.
It's easy keen as well. I mean, like, if this were a smaller map, not as easy to really get that going. This map's huge, not as easy for Dream to really start putting on pressure towards that third base here. So Hydra's in a good spot so far.
Yeah, even creep spread wise, he's not being disturbed at all here. He's gonna be able to start using these tumors here to I guess to creep spread. There's no better way to say it.
That's what they do.
If he can get that going and reaches, you know, a good number at a good time, the middle of the map and the corners of the map, it's going to be so hard for Dream to engage, get favorable engagements on creep against Bailing and against Bailing speed down the line.
Dream spots himself his third base as he does have
without even trying. Actually, he was just waiting for it there.
Here comes the first drop on the way, so 2 Widow Mines and 2 Marines. See if he can get anything done in the mineral lines of that.
If this doesn't do any damage, Hydra could start pulling really far ahead here.
The issue is that for Widow Mines in this situation, there's not really much exit paths.
Oh, he was getting an overseer but cancelled.
He knows.
He gets it closer.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
3 queens as well. I mean, that medivac is going to die pretty much instantly.
You do not fly in here. Like, you save your time for another day.
Have you heard of Ignite Afterburners?
There's already Lings there and everything. It died before it even
was close.
Oh, the second one. Oh, it didn't even do any damage because it went for the drone that went built the spore crawler. That was beautiful.
A sick move here, yeah.
Oh
Saved
my
that drone
gosh.
very nicely here. Hydra, this hasn't done any damage. Behind this, he's on 54 drones to 42 SCVs. He's got a third base already set up. He hasn't been disturbed at all. The Evos are a little bit late because he preferred to rush for Bailing Speed and Spire.
Get it. Pin. Oh. Well, Medevac can help you. Save us. No.
One of those actually die here, and now Mutas are going to start in a second. And with it being cross-map, it's going to be so hard for Drain to actually apply pressure here. Look at his creep spread. He's just going to
Yeah, it's going to be
Never
very
end,
difficult.
basically.
In these positions, it's so difficult to now start doing what you need to. Like, without those Widow Mines having killed anything, Hydra is just on cruise control right now. The Hellions are going to try and drop in for... Oh, okay, there was still a Widow Mine left alive, but it's almost got focused down. Actually pulled away the Ling, of all things.
Didn't properly target the drones.
Oh,
Has he lost a single drone yet?
I don't think so, no.
Oh my god.
This is going really badly for
15
Dream.
drones in the production tab?
Oh my god.
Hydra's economy is just about to completely blow up. He's got his upgrades going. He's just feeling great here.
But then he doesn't need any more. He can just make units if he wants to. And Dream, on the other side, has nothing to start pressuring, pushing away this creep, putting on pressure towards the third base. Did the Spire finish? It did ages ago. He could have a bunch of Mutalisks popping out soon if he wants to. And then how are you supposed to continue these drops?
Yeah, I really like Hydra's position here. Unless he somehow goes across the map, takes a really bad fight. As long as he plays it solid from there. This is his comfort zone here again.
This has got to be the slow game out of Dream.
Macro Hatch also going down here from Hydra every single time around that third base so that he can reinforce faster towards the fight, assuming it's going to happen around the middle of the map or even have to defend. Numerous Scarpe starts. He's going to have some extra speed here on these Overseers to keep up with his Mutalisks against the Widow Mines, which usually you want to be able to detect against. Actually, a really cute Spinecrawler starts here from Hydra in the corner of his third base behind the middle line.
Oh, that is nice, bless. Always anticipating those Hellions coming around and trying to be pesky, but already there is a drop loaded up towards the top there, so trying to go on very far out angles to evade Mutalisks.
Are we in the same situation as on Terraform here, where Dream moves across the map and Mutas attack him and then he attacks? No. Hydra is just going to fly back. I think he wants to focus on the defense here in this game more than anything.
I think that would be cool. I mean, if he is able to make sure that his creep, at least on some angles, whilst it's being denied on a few, is still spreading out.
It feels like he actually wants to fight because he doesn't want the creep spread to be denied. And Hydra is actually going to be the one engaging here.
Ooh, sending in a lot of Banelings first there to already get those Widow Mines. And actually, he destroyed that force, but he didn't anticipate this drop coming in from the main base, so he's already denied some mining time there. Whoa, but sends those reinforcements back.
Absolute shutdown here from Hydra. Evacuates the main just after losing 4 drones. He's not going to be killing that Medivac pretty quickly before he can even drop anything.
Nice. Nicely done here by Hydra. Still on lockdown on his side of the map.
That fourth base is already very well saturated as well here from Hydra. That Widow Mine though in the main.
What does he get?
Neglected
2.
a little bit.
2. All right, well, another Widow Mine actually got a big detonation off there on towards a lot of
the Medivac on the right-hand side. If he can catch that, Hydra had anticipated it, but then barely misses.
And he's going to be able to shut that down as well. Very good pickups here by Hydra.
Wow.
He's really on top of his game.
He's so far ahead in supply now. And usually when Hydra is this far ahead in supply, he knows to attack and try to make a game-winning move before letting the Terran really catch up in supply and everything.
Dream, he's kind of getting his macro wheels a-churning though now. He's got a few factories.
He's triple factory, so quite a few Thors that he's going to be making.
Yeah, exactly. And has plenty of Widow Mines out to help on out when he pushes across the middle of the map. But again, potentially a slow game here now. Dream is going to have to eventually try and take over sides of his side of the map with missile turrets, etc. Slow expansions against this very mobile force of Hydra.
You're absolutely right. It looks like he might want to try and slow down a little bit with that sensor tower, with the extra command center is getting. Hydra getting on top of some of those units here. He's going to be careful here with the Mutas that he's got. And that Medivac setting up to drop in the main here. I don't think there's much back at home for Dream.
He's almost going to have to start slowly bleeding out Hydra the longer this game goes on. And it is difficult at this point when Hydra has been on top of these aggressive maneuvers. This one's going to hit again and actually not do too badly. Already a few workers killed and a bit of mining time lost. But Zerglin's so mobile, so fast. Hydra's are actually Muta's being sent back here to actually defend this one.
This is doing quite a bit of damage, actually, for the first time in this game here. One of those drops have done a lot. 14 drones have been sniped already.
Because Mutas was sent back there, instead of the Lings to actually fend that off a little quicker.
Oh, the Widow Mine. He's going to be getting a few more drones, looks like.
Seems so.
Two again.
The thing is, not quite the cleanest of cleanups there from him, but at the same time, he's still at 77 workers. Yeah. So, and just replenishing a few here and there. His bank is amassing. He's now maxed out, so that's going to keep growing more and more and more as that bank.
I think he's going to go for a fight. A few units getting caught in the middle of the map here for Dream. He's just going to pick up and evacuate. And Hydra right now with the massive creep spread that he's got. Dream is always always the same medivac at the top position that's dropping in the main. He always sends it all the way around, so it's very hard for Hydra to properly see it.
And as long as Hydra has his opponent under threat, yes, that's exactly it. He has the gas to start his hive, more freely so than a Terran, than a Zerg that won't be under pressure. So that actually was quite a clever spot crawler. Did try and deny the swing on in.
He's
but
going
at
back
least
with his entire army, Going back with the entire army, it's not that good.
That's all the bandits on the other side. I'm not sure what they're... Oh my god, they tried to go towards the command center. Got a sensor tower, but...
Yeah, that was a bit of a waste. So even though Hydra is rich behind this, he needs to be careful here with these trades. And behind this Dream, he's going to be pretty happy to be on 4 bases against a 5-base Zerg who's not yet saturated his 5th.
Did Dream start his 3-3 yet? Is a question. Okay, so he did start that. So he will have a bit of a window here where he can try and hit Hydra, where he'll maybe be a little bit less strong. But at the same time, there's so much gas that he can pump into a huge amount of Banelings that might not even matter at this point. The swell of Zerg is going to be able to crash over this quickly if he's not careful, as the Banelings are going to roll forward. The Thors at the front want to tank the damage, but even still, so many Banelings left over.
Yeah,
oh my
Hydra
god.
kills so much here. Behind this, he's going to start 66 additional Zerglings to try and maybe do a little bit more damage. If you could get those medivacs here, that'd be great. It's very hard to replace those. Ultralis Cavern is now on the way, and Hydra starts the 3-3 as well. His economy has been left untouched here.
70 Zerglings. That's the bank that we're having. 70 Zerglings, 3-3 started. Ultralis Cavern was on the way as well. Didn't have too much gas available to him. He's going to morph in those into Banelings. How many Mutalisks does he have left? 9. Okay, so not the greatest count there either, really.
This might be one of those games where the Zerg's on 5 bases, saturated on 5 bases, and he says to the Terran, you can be on 4 bases all you want. I'm going to keep on trading with you, and then when you run out of minerals, you're going to die. But so far, the 5th base of Hydra is not really saturated. He needs to work on that a little bit here, but he's making mostly units right now.
Right, and at least he's still keeping up somewhat in these upgrades. 3-3 finishing up, +3 weapons, about to finish up here for Dream. Can he make something happen with these upgrades? Advantage one, they're about a hit for hit, but at the same time, the Banelings are moving in to kill off some of the income, and already get onto the Planetary Fortress. He just blew that up again here.
Yeah. You can't leave the Planetary Fortress, so if there's enough Banelings, usually they're going to be able to blow it up, and behind this, the Zerg can retreat back on creep, make sure he produces a lot of units, but Dream right now is going to start moving across the map. I think
this is the window.
A lot of Banelings have died, and he could take a favorable fight. Actually, 3-3 is going to end in a second here for him.
Needs his armor does Dream, that would be nice, but the firepower here from Marines and Marauders is quite significant. One Marine alone is getting a lot of work done. Those Banelings did not do anything. This has to be the window here for Dream. That was a lot of gas investment that didn't do anything. A drop up towards the left didn't do too much. That Marine's still going crazy.
Stopped that guy already.
But the thing is that Dream is moving heavily on towards this base over towards the right. This has to be a good opportunity, surely, for him to do something big.
There's a lot of Banelings, but there's so many Thors here as well.
Can he make it work? Can he make it work? This is a great opportunity with what has happened just so far. That's still a lot of Banelings, you are totally right, but the spree split isn't too bad at all here. There's not that much bio with this here for Dream, so I think he might get pushed back. He might have to ferry some more units out. There's still a few Lings, still quite a few Banelings, and they will clean up the rest of that bio.
All of the units are walking back for one single Marauder on the left-hand side. Dream,
oh my god,
using a great decoy here.
Oh, through the middle. There's a lot of units coming here. So this could really be the train that Dream needs here to try and shut down Hydra.
Hydra is fighting too early here. He has a lot of army in production. He's fighting right now. This is a big mistake. He's going to lose a lot here.
And that Thor didn't even die. It was very, very low. So this is really, really big here. If he's able to break this location. Oh, and the Mutalisks take big, big damage from every single Javelin missiles volley that come through from those Thors. The bio on the fort ground, though, is being overwhelmed by Lings and Banelings. So it looks like Hydra is just barely going to be able to hold on. A great recovery.
Oh, that was close. Oof. That was close. Behind this, he restarts a bunch of Mutalisks. He's going to catch a bunch of Marines actually in the middle of the map, which is really good for Hydra. Remember, he's now 3-3. If he was able to make a bunch of Ultralisks, he'd be in a great position.
I really felt like that was Dream's window, and without just being able to do crippling damage there. Look at Hydra now. He's chasing back far. This is actually quite far
he's overextending, I think.
He sacrificed a lot of Banelings on just kind of blowing up that wall for a moment.
This is one of the trades. He sacrificed a lot of Zerglings on the Planetary Fortress and now finds himself behind his supply. What the hell was that?
That was quite far. That's when a Zerg said, all right, I've done so much damage. I've got to keep chasing back the reinforcements, keep chasing them back all the way. But then he just didn't have enough to continue that on. So now Hydra's going to have to run back with his tail between his legs, and he's now at a 30 supply disadvantage.
Yeah. He's actually trying to take an extra base here. I don't get it. Try to stay alive first, man. Like, he should know right now that Dream's gonna have quite a bit more supply, so Hydra needs to be careful. He needs to win the next engagement. Dream's now moving across the map.
And that will not do anything, apart from that one Widow Mine that got a big chunk of Banelings. Another drop over towards his left-hand side, and this is getting all too much for Hydra now. Dream has really got the cogs working. After that one brilliant window that he had over towards that right-hand side, he was able to do enough, and another Widow Mine gets a great connection. Oh, this is spiraling out of control here for Hydra.
Yeah, Dream's supply is completely taking off. Hydra can barely keep up. I don't know why he's still making drones or taking another base. He needs to be getting units out right now to try and keep up, to try and defend one more time here.
Just pre-split this entire army, and it is going to be so hard for Hydra to actually engage in towards. There's not that many Banelings left at all. He's got 9 morphing in, but that is all he has. And even those aren't able to do enough at all. Dream pushes on. That is going to be GG. He takes the 3rd game. That is 2-1 going over to Dream. That means he is 1 game away from the round of 8. A strong little attack there from Dream, able to really put Hydra on the back foot.
Using map number 1 as a wake-up call here, and really doing much better in the next ones here. And for the first big macro game that we saw here, that was pretty impressive.
That was good stuff.
Looked like Hydra, by the way, was asked if he wanted to break. He said no, and it looks like Dream doesn't. I don't think he said.
Seems so.
Yeah, I don't think they want to break.
Seems so. Next map's going to be Coda here in this best of 5. Dream on the warpath at the moment. I wonder if Hydra starts now mixing in something a bit more aggressive himself. The funny thing is about Hydra, and I've mentioned it a lot of times in my previous cast, is that he started off in Korea as one of the cheesiest guys of all time. But ever since he kind of like developed himself as a player more in StarCraft 2, moved over to the WCS system, he's been an extremely solid and formidable Zerg that likes to push it into the later stages of the game. Against Dream, though, he tested his metal there, and it wasn't enough.
Zerg seems to have a little bit of a better record here against Darren on Coda. And I don't think that Hydra, like going back to what you were saying, I don't think that he needs to do something crazy in particular. I think he just needs to not make the same mistakes that he was making here in particular.
Okay.
Sending his entire mute account on the top left-hand side to defend against 1 Marine and then 1 Marauder. That was like the winning move for Dream, which I don't think he even expected himself. Like, if the Midas had been on the right-hand side to help and defend against those stores being picked up, against the Medivacs really helping there, I think Hydra would have been able to hold, and he would have been in a better position than he was now.
All right, well, it's time to get into it. Game number 4 here. Do or die for Hydra, a WCS champion of 2015. He's looking to keep his BlizzCon hopes alive. That's exactly why he moved over to the World Championship Series, to try and carry on glory throughout the entirety of the year. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner, we have our blue Terran representing SK Telecom T1. It is Dream.
Going to this match with a lot of confidence. Said in the interview that when he saw he was playing Hydra in round 16, he thought, oh, I've just won.
Oh, great, free win. And spawned down at the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg representing Root Gaming. It is Hydra.
Hydra all alike. It's pretty confident. Somewhat confident rather, but after that last game, it seems like confidence is not everything, and you need to play your absolute best if you want to beat somebody like Dream. And there were mistakes in that last game from him.
All right, well. Dream here going to be opening up with a usual barracks in his base at least, so for that, at least he's not going too crazy over the other side of the map. Hydra though, look at that. 12 spawning pool. Wow. Or 13 spawning pool, depending on the drone came out, but regardless.
Yeah, playing it a little bit safer against rushes, and also if he was to face something like a command center first, maybe he could put on a little bit of aggression with some Zerglings. That barrack placement is interesting because once Hydra spots that depot up the ramp, maybe he just flies to the command center and kind of misses the barracks, in which case, you know, Marine could come out and kill his overlord, because right now we don't have a gas here from Dream, so it looks like he just wants to go for a command center after he gets orbital command and a Marine, so interesting little build here already that we're seeing from Dream.
Alright, so, yep, little SCV is going to head on down, start himself that command center. So these 6 Zerglings could pose quite a problem, to be honest, especially if they do end up looping around and being able to cause some problems to that SCV in particular. Him right there, that guy, as there'll only be 1 or 2 Marines out to help him if he's not careful. But these are being banked up, and actually he's luring the Overlord in by the looks of things. Banking that Marine up initially. Oh, no, he's moving it. Oh, no, that was an SCV.
I think, yeah, Hydra quickly realized what was going on, saw the depot up the ramp, figured that there is no proxy, because otherwise he would have already spotted an SCV close to his base or even some units. So he's moving across the map here with the Zerglings that he's got. And Dream, though, his Marines, they are moving out. If they get caught here... It's funny because...
Where's he going?
Oh my god.
Ah! Well, that happened. Oh my god. He's going to get completely surrounded and just killed off. SCVs are being pulled off. He understands the severity of this, and he just walks down. These Marines have almost walked to their death. One already goes down. The SCVs are going to have to tank for the second one. He's trying to focus it down. He does get it. A great pickup there by Hydra already early on. If he could get any SCVs, that would be glorious for him.
Yeah, I mean, he killed a little bit, but in the end, he didn't kill a single SCV.
A lot of lost mining time in the end for Dream. That's the one thing.
But Hydra, that was a big investment. Pulled 12 into 6 links. He sacrificed a lot of drone and economy here for this. I mean, the walker count is now even. And Terran's about to get his second orbital here, which he just started, so... Not quite sure that was worth it at all here. Factory is now starting. Dream's gonna get his reactor on time here to be able to pump out... I'm guess is gonna be a lot of Hellions.
I would like
pretty
to
much
see
every single time.
I mean, on Coda, like the ramp does exist for the natural, but it's also quite wide a ramp. So even if you want to get kind of cheeky with those Hellions, if there isn't a third base there, there is the potential that you could still do something if your opponent's not exactly paying full attention to that ramp with those Hellions. So unless he just wants to shuttle them in with a medevac again, like he has been in the past game.
To be honest, Hydra, like there's been a lot of impressive things here about his play. I think his macro, the way he's been crease spreading and all that. But Medivac defense has been pretty weak, I feel like, so far in this series. One single Medivac every single time going for the main. He never really adjusted, placed any overlords in those corners of the map to see it coming, keep anything ready. Like, it took him forever to finally add a Spore or even keep any units in the main. He never really did that in previous games, so this time around, he's gonna need to do better here. And with a Roach Warren and an Evolution Chamber on the way here, looks like he might be going for a little bit of a Hyun-esque style.
Yeah, which is very, very interesting. Hydra is going to mix things up a little bit here. So already, technically, yes, a Roach Warren at the front can help against Hellions. Great, thumbs up or whatever, and things like that. But that's a pretty quick layer with +1 weapon starting for these Roaches as well. So, in essence...
I thought he might just be defensive Roaches against what he thought might have been Hellbats. But in this case, yeah, getting the +1, I guess he's committing to this tide here.
Yeah, just trying to bust down where he can by the looks of things. 6 Roaches already in production. That's 7 as well. This is more than I was really expecting. He's just going to bank these up and go for it.
Maybe it's time for a little bit of a Cats build here to try and get a score equalizer and teach TLO who's the more creative Zerg.
And normally you expect the Hellions to at least poke up and see what's going on, but they didn't even. So right now he doesn't actually have full information as to what's going on. He will eventually, because he's obviously going to try and do something a bit aggressive with these units in the medevac.
I think, okay, so you just mass Roaches here, you crush this Hellbat timing, and then you go all in yourself. That could be one of the great things here that Hydra can do.
Hellbats not do too bad against Roaches at all here as well, so this could be very, very difficult for Hydra to even fully hold on against this at the start of things. He's microing back nicely. Thankfully, he started his Roach count early because he wanted to be aggressive with it, and he will be able to clean this up eventually. So it's not too bad at all. He doesn't take proper economic losses, and still the Roaches continue behind it.
Does he drone or not? So far, it's only Roaches. Hydra might be planning to just move across the map and try and end the game. Bunker is going to start back at home for Dream. I think he knows what could be happening here.
I think he needs more than one bunker. He saw so many Roaches with, well, I mean, he hasn't seen the prolonged production. He needs a lot. So let's see how he's going to deal with this. Only one Marauder's already popped. He doesn't have the production to really deal with this many Roaches.
Hydra is forgetting a bunch of his Roaches across the map. Okay, now he starts moving them, but some of those, those 3, they were not moving for a little bit.
Widowmine's going to set themselves up as well. That will put a bit of a timer on these Roaches for a moment. Where is the Overseer? But the Viking can zone out the Overseer. That's the problem.
And 3 Overlords here are about to come out, so We'll see if Hydra wants to change things up and go for drones instead, but he's already invested so much into this. It's 42 drones to 50 SCVs.
Yeah, T-Sat's 10 workers behind us, realizing that potentially it's not even going to work out. Brings down one bunker. There's another bunker for them to fall back to, though, here. And the roaches haven't really done too much. Separates one roach off, though, for a Widowmine. That's a good little trade for that shot initially. SCVs on the friendly fire. Oh, the friendly fire actually catches quite a few of the SCVs there, but he still hasn't been able to do enough. 6 workers have gone down. He's pulled all the roaches away from the bunker, all importantly, to try and focus down what he can in that mineral line.
So this is doing some good damage here at last, killing a bunch of SCVs, preventing some mining time, with all of those doing absolutely nothing here right now. The Spire is going to go down behind this, Bailing Nest as well, and Hydra is getting ready for the full transition. And a little bit more of a macro here behind this.
Looking to continue this kind of breakout of the situation here is Dream. Pulls the Marauder as well as the rest of the units off towards to shred up these roaches. Eventually they will die off, yes, but at the cost of 12 SCVs, while Hydra's been SCVing up as well, or droning up, I should say.
Could have killed a little bit more here, but 12 SCVs being killed extra, not too shabby. He's now 70 drones to 48 SCVs, and Dream, he wants some kind of revenge here. He wants to equalize the score here on those walker counts and on the workers killed, and he's going to fly across the map with a Medivac. 3 Widowmines and Hellion are inside, and Hydra missed it. He seems to know, though. He's setting up for the main.
That's funny. 10 workers killed, so we can attribute 2 of those to the friendly fire of the Widowmines while that was going on, as we will have this Medivac flying on his 1-1 upgrades against not really too much.
The Overseer on the map hatched on time here, even though the Viking was shooting at it. Can he get the Widowmine? Yeah, good defense here.
5 workers go down in total to all of that, but still, is it enough to really equalize the odds? Doesn't look like it, and finally gets the Overseer, which allows the path open here for a moment for that Medivac.
This is looking pretty good for Hydra, with Dream taking his 3rd this late and Hydra being set up on his so much earlier than his opponents. I mean, the macro hatch now gonna finish on the 3rd base. I guess upgrades were very neglected because he went for +1 missile at first.
Yes.
And then secure carapace, and he's now out of 1 evo going for +1 melee.
Yeah, it's not going to have, that's for sure, as much impact, that range, whilst we're going further down this game. But he's got to evacuate around from here. There's too many units.
You can't leave.
That's the way you boost to sacrifice this entire force. So he's just trying to get as much damage done with these Widowmines as possible. Will he get some done? And he actually does get a good chunk done. 8 workers killed off. And also bruising up these Mutalisks, which, well, yeah, they're going to heal up instantly. So it's not that big a deal.
The Overseer and ground units here went on strike for a second. Bit of a mistake by Hydra. He definitely needs to defend here against those Widowmines and remove them from there.
Replenish is nice and fast, though. 12 workers on the way. 2-2's about to start up here for Dream as well. So across these 3 bases, we're looking for like these Zerglings to really do something. Maybe get themselves a good swing into the 3rd base after the units have been drawn away by Mutalisks or something. That would be nice. But the thing is, Hydra can keep the fight on his opponent's side of the map for quite a bit of time here.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think that what we're seeing from Hydra to adjust so well after the initial rush. You know, he went for a lot of drones, went into a macro game, and now he added a 2nd evo as well to make sure he can keep up with the upgrades of his opponent. But it's definitely Dream that's going to be a little bit ahead here on that 2-2.
Opening up these rocks as well. So opening up every attack path he can just to get easier access over towards the 3rd base. And if the Terran wants to expand aggressively towards that 4th location, it could be even easier for him to try and breach that.
Hydra has had enough of those Medivac drops, by the way. In his main, he's now set up with 1 Spine Crawler and 1 Spore.
Oh, I like it. That's very nice.
If he had had that before, I think, in the previous game, he had just 1 because of it. Because those Medivac drops were so annoying.
Definitely wouldn't have taken as much damage, that's for sure.
Run away, Lynx. Won't be able to do much here.
Alright, well, for now, over towards left, not too much going on either. Steady pace to this game, as Hydra didn't even find too much room to put on pressure as he was out on his opponent's side of the map. Dream just bullied him back a little bit.
Only 1 single extra factory, by the way, here for Dream. In the previous game, it was 2, with which he made a lot of Thors.
A lot of Thors, yeah.
That did really well for him, to be honest.
Yeah, they did, because they caused a lot of disruption on the front lines of the ground army as well. Even the Lings and Banelings didn't necessarily want to be engaging with the Thors. They wanted to get back to the bio, but while all that was going on, they were taking damage from them. So, and the Mutalisks were never able to really be with the fight anyway. Yeah. So.
And Dream, much like in the previous game, he drops down an additional command center if he were to go here for something like a sensor tower. It would simply mean that he wants to slow things down for a little bit, make sure he can take another base, start his 3-3 on time, as he's getting drilling class here right now.
Well, the medevac goes down. Great pickup here by Hydra, and now he can keep the fight in the mineral lines here of Dream, who has to come back throughout all of this SimCity, which does take a while for this Bioforce to reinforce the location of.
Yeah, thanks to this overload on the top right-hand side, this medevac drop here is going to be spotted on time for Hydra to set up and defend exactly as he needs to here against it.
Mineral field.
Ooh. Okay, so doesn't want to be walking into those Marines at all. Actually, Mutalisks are way out of spot to actually deal with this, but at least he has a bit of buying time with that static defense that he has. Oh, he's actually going to go straight to the Mirror.
Oh, that one, Widowmine. If he can burrow, won't be able to. Very nice here by Hydra.
Good quick ground cleanup here for the Mutalisks to just come and mop away. So drilling claws don't just finish, actually, which could have helped that Widowmine a bit.
Hydra is so rich behind this, by the way. Like, he's going to be able to remax so fast after he loses a chunk of his army, which should happen no matter what, even if he were to win the fight. So Infestation Pit is going to start so that he can get a hive behind this. If Hydra just keeps on attacking on that third base of Dream and make sure it never gets it, he's going to be in a great position.
The big problem is, though, is that Dream's 3-3 window is going to be so much bigger than it was last time, when we already saw how much damage it did in the previous game. He doesn't even have his Infestation Pit yet. These Banelings are going to have to do quite a bit. They're going to crash through the first wave of this force, but there's still a lot of bio behind this here, with the Zerglings chasing forwards through all of this. The force being helpful slightly at the back. This is actually a huge army from Hydra that's been able to rip apart a lot of what we're seeing here from Dream, who has just completely blindsided this army. That was a good win there from Hydra, but he's not willing to pursue any further.
That was a perfect attack, engagement, and timing here from him as Dream was attempting to take that extra base.
He needs to follow it up. He needs to follow it up. This is perfect here from Hydra. He knows he's done big crippling damage to the army of Dream. It's not going to be easy for Dream at all to replenish against that when there were 70 Zerglings in production and 51 Banelings morphing in. This is the perfect opportunity for Hydra to just steam away with this game right here, right now. If he is able to crush this army once again, he is going to win this game. This is brilliant by him, and he has so much available. A perfect opportunity. Crushes again through that first wave. The second wave here of Dream is nowhere near going to be enough. And this is great execution from Hydra from start to finish, from the first engage to the second. GG. Hydra will take game number 4, and that will be tying up this series. We're going to a game 5, Todd.
Yeah, such a fantastic play here by Hydra in this game. And it seems like if he's able to set up comfortably, even though at first he didn't really look good for his initial rush, he made the most of it. He didn't run into the Window Mines, lose everything. He broke that wall a little bit, ran past it, forced some friendly fire, killed a whole bunch of SCVs, saturated his third base behind this, found himself with a lot of workers ahead. And even the initial rush here, that was very annoying for Dream, you know, to lose 2 Marines like this, to have to pull this many SCVs. That's really what in part put him behind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, things like this, Hydra obviously commits a little bit of his economy on the other side, but at the same time, you know, Dream has been slowed down here, which then slows down his aggressive maneuvers if he wants them. And also, this Roach attack that we're seeing actually got a good chunk of SCVs that were initially not mining at all, and then eventually 12 or so died off during all of this. So it is a big blow to a Terran in this phase of the game.
I'm becoming a big fan of this Windows 10 game DVR replay, and we need to have it every tournament. We can get a quick recap like this. If anybody had to go to toilet, I guess you get to see what you missed a little bit.
This is what happened, this is how he died, GG.
Yeah. A lot of SCVs. I actually could have targeted a little bit better here. That's my TLO moment here in this game.
Wow.
Some of these SCVs were a little bit low, but in the end that did the job, and Hydra started pulling really far ahead on the worker count here with, we can see 79 to 60 here at this point. Oh, actually that's the end, but yeah, before that
now this was the first wave. This was the initial wave where he massed up so many Banelings to actually just crash on through. And when you win a fight like this as a Zerg, if you can replenish so fast behind it and just keep on the pressure on and on and on, it's going to be great. Because at this point, once you've lost all your Zerglings and Banelings on the floor, Mutalisks, yes, technically can chase towards the backlines, but you're going to be losing a few of them. It's this, the big swell, the second wave.
I mean, this was the worst time for Dream to fight. He had 3-3, getting very close to finishing. He wasn't maxed out yet against the maxed out Zerg that had a bank as well and can remax very quickly. So if Dream had played it a little bit more conservatively and sat back home, it would have been a lot better, I think, for him if Hydra were to engage into him.
It's all knock-on effects, as we say. I mean, those roaches doing what they did, put the Terran on the back foot, and always put him on this position where he couldn't apply damage to the Zerg, and we all know what happens when a Zerg is just playing free reign on their side of the map. They're going to have a lot of gas, they're going to have a lot of banelings, and they're going to keep crashing through you time and time again.
Look at these cool haircuts here on both of these players. You wish you could style that hair like this, Carlos.
Like a bowl?
Yeah.
No.
It would look great on you.
I don't think a ginger bowl on me would look very good. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, you won't know until you tried it.
And I never will. Iron Fortress is going to be our map here for game number 5. And overall, very, very even here in the TVZ matchup. So
Zerg's doing a little bit better. And if this were to be cross-map again here, I don't think Dream would be that happy, even though, you know, in terms of Zerg, I feel like there's two schools, like the ones that complain about, I guess, one side, and then the ones that complain about the other. But overall, it seems like it's always been one of the more balanced matchups in terms of everything, you know, results.
I mean, as the series has gone on, game 1, 2, 3, Dream tried to seize the initiative. He got the better end of it twice in those 3 times. Game 4 comes along, Hydra seizes the initiative. He has now put himself in a position where he can still go to the round of 8. Does Dream go back to trying to seize the initiative? Does he go back to being aggressive? That's the big question here as we go into game number 5 on Iron Fortress. To the bottom left-hand corner, representing SK Telecom T1, it is Dream. And up to the top right-hand corner as our red Zerg representing Root Gaming, it is Hydra. So cross spawns again here, Todd.
Yeah. I like what you said though. Cheesy games 1-1, micro games 1-1 so far. What do we see now?
What do we see?
Arm wrestle for map number 5? No, actually just Iron Fortress. And maybe a micro game here if I had to guess, because so far it doesn't look like Dream wants to try 2 racks here in the middle of the map. It might even be a command center first here if you wanted to.
Right, so I think even just something. Oh, okay. So I wouldn't have even minded command center first to just go super greedy, but then you could get caught off by the earlier pulls that Hydra was exhibiting in the previous game.
And Hydra, all alike, I fully expect him to go back to that comfort style here, with the hatchery first, pull, and then quick gas behind it. That's what he's really good at. If you watch most of his games, you know, he likes to go into speed. After taking that second hatchery, take a third base pretty quickly, get enough links out on the map to make sure he can defend against pretty much anything. And then behind this, he's just smooth sailing. He's one of the fastest players out there. One of these Zergs that's mechanically very, very good. Can always get his creep spread going, keep up with his upgrades, and his production is... I mean, I don't think I've seen him once go to up something to like 1,000 minerals. He's been spending very efficiently all of his minerals.
One of the scary things as well is about what we've seen from Hydra's game so far is that when we have gone into those longer macro game situations, in the big engagements, he's not been afraid to just chase off creep and just keep going.
Yeah.
Because he just has so many banelings when he gets really going with his macro. He
overextended a little bit though sometimes. That one time on Cactus Valley,
definitely.
I really didn't like it.
Yeah.
He had way too little for the attack to be relevant. Like he sent a bunch of links to fight the Planetary Fortress. He's like, what?
Yeah, that didn't go so well. But at the moment, as we can see here, the predictions just keep swaying further and further towards Hydra here from the guys out on the Twitterverse. But Dream still has a shot for sure. Pretty evenly matched though, and I think that's one thing that has come as probably a surprise to a lot of kind of experts out there as well. You know, people were really touting Dream to go the full distance here, give us an extremely strong showing. But Hydra has stood very, very admirably toe-to-toe here with Dream, for sure.
Absolutely. The winner of this match as well will face the winner of Maru versus Rogue, which is our next match. So maybe another TVZ here at BlizzCon. If we get that, maybe a mirror match. Either way, it's going to be cool. Like all of these players are very high caliber.
Yeah, the round of 8 that we've got so far is fantastic. So really good caliber of players that we're going to get to see at BlizzCon. Not going to get see as many of those games as I would like to see, I'll be honest with you, but I'll have to catch some of the VODs.
Oh, those links. Not going to be able to do much here as there is enough Marines in position. And Hydra, as always here, Just gonna drone up for now. He's getting speed. He's got that possibility of making links if he finds himself in any kind of danger. And usually when he goes for this build, like I said before, he just drop down this third hatchery around the 6-minute mark if he's got enough drones then. And then behind this, it's between dropping down 2 evolution chambers or going for a lair quicker. I think right now Hydra knows that he doesn't need to go for some kind of Baneling's nest that quickly.
Oh, Roach Warren. Oh, alarm bells already.
Wow, okay.
Alert, alert. And it's towards the back, interestingly.
Yeah.
So this is like more hidden away. Normally you'd put it in the wall to try and see off some Hellion plays or something like that. But
The
that's
thing
not the
about
case.
this map is that if you go for this kind of build and the opponent somehow doesn't see it, he's going to be in lots of trouble. And since there is no ramp at the natural, it's just going to be depot and 1 bunker, which you can bust and kill very quickly. So Hydra might be investing a lot here into this. It could still be a defensive Roach one, because this time actually it might be defensive because he's getting a 3rd hatchery.
4 Overlords in production there while that was going on, so he's definitely opening up the taps to just try and get a bit out here.
Yeah.
6 or 7 are on the way. That's more than enough to deal with these Hellions. I think it's a jab. I think, you know, what? Yeah, you've dealt with the Hellions, then jab across and see what you can do. Force out responses from your opponent here as Dream.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if he's expecting Hellbats here, sorry, or if he actually wanted to be aggressive from the start. Looks like he might just want to move across. But I think 8 roaches are too much for it to be considered a defensive. And right now we have a Baneling nest on the way. Hydra, he might have been hoping for this 3rd base to be scouted, or he might even just be using this for great production, because there is already a Queen setting up for injects on that 3rd base. He's even going to go around the middle of the map, so he knows that there is a very low chance that Dream's going to be able to spot this.
He's going to try bust. That's 18 lings on the production as well.
There's nothing in that bunker back at home here for Dream.
And he hasn't seen the roaches even heading across the map at all. He saw a few poking out of the front, I think, but I don't think he saw the full extent trying to wrap around this side here.
Oh my god, Hydra putting it all on the line here. In map number 5, he's going to be going for a massive Ling and Roach attack.
Is he going to catch some of these reinforcements? If he catches, he's out of position. The medevac needs to come back and help. Oh my god, he's actually just going to try and drop. Oh my, okay, this is about to turn really crazy. All of these units being caught on the other side of the wall is disaster here for Dream.
He's trying to buy a little bit of time. Those Marines are going to be cornered. They're going to be sniped so quickly here. Banelings could now morph towards the natural here of Dream. He's now going to be dropping 4 Hellions in the main base of Hydra, but Hydra knew about it. He's kept a bunch of Lings there.
Kept a bunch of Lings. The Queen's there as well to actually help that out. He picks up and gets away from there. I think he realizes the severity of the situation. He saw those Banelings morphing in towards the front. He's trying to shuttle them back maybe to go for a defense. It doesn't look like it. He's just trying to build big defense up towards the natural and evacuate out from there.
So many bunkers are going down in the main as well. Dream's getting 3 in the main. He's got 3 in the natural. They're just there to buy some time. He's getting Widow Mites.
Oh my god.
The more he can get, the better it's going to be against those Zerglings and against those Banelings and Roaches.
I think the majority of the Widow Mines have already been triggered. There's one up towards the top as well here. What's it going to trigger on? It gets a few of the Roaches, but the wall has already been broken down. That's a lot of Roaches piling forwards here. Can the Banelings do anything? They were being focused down by the units in that bunker. They haven't been able to get through to the SCVs just yet, but they actually blow up on a few of them. 14 workers have already gone down. The Roaches are going to continue their rampage here and kill off as much as possible. 24 Lings are still in production. The Hellbats have morphed in towards the main, though. They might be able to equalize up the odds as more Lings are going to flood through towards that main base and try and do as much damage as possible. There's just not enough units here to actually hold on against it. And even if he tries to hold up to the bunkers, he doesn't have enough SCVs to be able to fully repair this. He can't repair it. It's surrounded by Zerglings. This is great pressure here. GG! Hydra is able to take the series. He takes it 3-2. He eliminates Dream from BlizzCon. What a result here from Hydra.
In your face, guys. I predicted this guy to win, and I was the only one. So glad.
There you go.
I always believed in Hydra, he believed in himself, and in the end he pulls through here against a very tough opponent in Dream, who was running a lot of momentum here going into this series. And Hydra, I'm very impressed here by him. Even going into his next match, which will be again Rogue or Maru, that will be our next match. I think he's going to be all right in this tournament.
I love overall that he sees the initiative in that last game. It really felt like everybody in those games, whoever was really putting on the more aggressive stance, aside from game 1, ignore that one, you know, they were seizing the initiative and just really putting on the pressure towards their opponents. Hydra does it again, and he's able to make it work. Let's go and hear from the winner himself, over with Chobra.
We wrap up the second to last match of the day in the shadow of the day as Hydra moves on to the round of 8. Now, Hydra, I mean, our panel on the couch, a lot of people actually thought Dream would move on, and they rated Dream a little bit higher, but you pulled through. It was very close, but you pulled through. How confident were you entering the match, and at any point were you worried because it was so close back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing really well since he moved his team to SKT, but I've been winning against him so many times when I was in CJ. So when I was in CJ, so I was really confident before the games.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because that's a huge thing that the community loves about you, is that you've moved out from Korea, but you're still doing everything you can to stay in top form, and I think you've proven it so far. You're now in the round of 8 at BlizzCon. How different does it feel now? I mean, do you struggle with certain parts about your training or anything, or are you still just as confident as always, or in some ways maybe you feel even better this year here at BlizzCon?
The difference is only my body is moved to the US, that's it. And I practice so many hours and games as I did when I was in CJ. So yeah, there's not much difference between Korean Hydra and US Hydra.
Awesome to hear. And I know a lot of fans, I mean, they've grown to love you a lot, having seen you at the WCS tournaments now throughout this year and just following your progress throughout 2015. Does that give you a sense of pride that in some ways now you have all these newer fans from the West that are cheering for you and that are a little bit more intimate about knowing you as a player, that they're supporting you?
Yeah, I mean, foreigner fans are so awesome that they always cheer for players, even though I lost the game, or yeah, they keep supporting me, and that means a lot to keep playing the game for me.
All right, well, congratulations once again on moving to the round of 8. We'll see you next week in Anaheim for BlizzCon.
A fantastic victory there for Hydra, and for the WCS, they get a player through to the top 8. Joining me on the couch here is Tilo in control and Nathanius, and that is a big win. It's a fantastic win. All of us, apart from Todd, had predicted incorrectly, and Todd was the only one to get that right. But a massive win there up there for Hydra, Tilo.
Yeah, I'm very surprised how that series played out, because we all saw Dream as a heavy favorite and all talked about how maybe Hydra is going to pull out the cat strategies and do some crazy things, but in the end it was Dream who didn't seem to trust his macro and tried to go for some more all-ins than we expected, and then kind of crumbled because of that.
We saw a few Nidus Worms, which is, those Nidus Worms were like 3 more than we've seen in any tournament in a long time. Until Legacy of Void, when we'll see him all the time, actually.
every game.
So he did bust out a little bit weird stuff, but I actually fully agree with you. It felt like, especially if you kind of look at the series in its entirety, if you like covered up the names, it felt like Dream was the underdog doing weird stuff to try to disrupt Hydra, and Hydra's the guy who's like, well, I'm gonna go Ling Muta Hydra, or not Muta Hydra.
Okay.
Anyways, Ling Muta Bane Ling. It's late. It's 45 hours.
It's not even Cats is that creative to do that.
No, but we saw some apt roach timings as well, though, and they actually got scouted out to a certain degree, but we're still working, which is a kind of a cool thing to see.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. I could go basically exactly what you said. Watching the games, I'm just asking myself why Dream feels the need to proxy Reaper against a guy. Not only do these, I know that because the type of strategies that Cats works on, like, he's pretty good against Cheese. If there's like one thing I expect Hydra to be good against, it's proxy plays, things that are going to try to catch you off guard, and forcing the game back to a standard game where you're ahead. And I feel like trying to cheese someone like Hydra is just silly. Like I feel like if Dream had just played more straight up, it should have been a much better series.
Well, let's take a look at the replay here. The Windows 10 game DVR function that we do have available here in Nathanius, and walk us through a couple of these moments.
I mean, in a lot of these situations, you have Dream walking forward, the mines are in pre-position, but really, Hydra bounces off of the early aggression not working in this game to just build a lot of momentum with a lot of forces. And we saw that especially towards the end game, the final map on Coda, where he's able to just throw up 40 Banelings like nuts. And the thing is, you put yourself behind in this scenario, unless you're going to make the greatest micro ever, you're going to have a really hard time bringing it back. Like there's no easy way around it. If you try to cheese someone that practices as much as like this, you're not going to be able to win games just off of that.
I mean, in this game, it happened to work out pretty okay. That he did some early damage with the Reapers, and then follow-up push was pretty okay. It became a little bit awkward with the Nidus there. Hydra trying to put on some counter aggression, but it was just a little bit too much damage he took there. But I still disagree with the decision anyway, that he went for Proxy Reaper here again. A bunch of 3cc plays, I think, would have been a much better choice for him.
What do you think? I mean, it's very difficult to know what's going through a player's head in control when he makes these type of decisions, obviously without asking him directly, but a lack of confidence, perhaps?
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like it was more something along the lines of he scouted some kind of weakness in Hydra's play and felt like this style would do very well. But also, to be honest, just kind of meta-wise, Hellbats are still very strong in Heart of the Swarm and will be to its entirety. We're moving on beyond this. But we've seen these timing attacks make the best Zergs on planet Earth look really silly. Hydra got the better end of the build like almost each time. He had roaches for those Hellbat timing attacks each time and was able to counterattack very successfully, I felt.
And here is the ending fight here that pushed us into Game 5. And when it came to the wire, it was Hydra who was able to come out on top now to move through to the quarterfinals. And he did it in such a way that we've seen throughout WCS, throughout Zerg vs. Terran history, a good old Roach Balin boss Nathanius.
Yeah, and you know, this just really shows perhaps a bit of, you know, clustering on Dream's part, because there are a lot of Terran players that would, you know, the first thing when you think about when attacks like this happen, because he almost holds this towards the end.
This is a hold at first.
Yeah, it is a hold at first. It's the Ling Flood follow-up,
Yes.
but when you have SCVs by these bunkers, like, your first thought should be restart the reactor or build a depot where it is. Just create that wall off, because you know 90% of the time, if a Zerg player wants to win the game right there, they need the Zergling follow-up, because Roaches won't get there fast enough to kill you.
Or survive and win. It's
Right.
so
Yeah.
often, I think of the immortal words of Maynard from, was it season, what finals was that?
It
back-
was Taipei, the last season of the Intuition. Yes.
Taipei. Well, he said,
Taipei.
he said, that's nothing. He shouted to Todd's
Taipei?
face.
Yeah,
He screamed
Taipei.
it, basically. And it was because if you do it all in like that as a Zerg and you kill, you know, 10, 15, 20 SCVs, which to all the other races is mostly a mortal blow, it doesn't matter. If they have 2 or 3 orbitals, they will remake that no problem. But not walling in, like Nate said, meant that, and we just missed it, but we can all picture in our mind's eye, that second flood of Zerglings was like, oh, it's over, actually. Like 2 seconds later, it was like, oh, it's over. But before that, it was like 5 roaches, kind of against Marauders with Medevac. Not so over, and then the Lynx.
Well, this has started to shake up the predictions a little bit now, with all of us, everyone, apart from Todd getting it wrong. It's taking a turn for the worse for all of us. We're starting to very equalize in the middle of it. We'll have a look at that a little bit later on when we come towards the end of the day. And that leads us into our next match now, which I think a lot of people are quite excited for. There's going to be a lot of mind games, a lot of fun in this series. It is going to be Maru versus Rogue. It's going to be the last game of the day here in the opening week. Do remember to join us on social media. As always, hashtag WCS and at StarCraft for all your tweets that you send in to the show, and we are to read some of them throughout the rest of the day. We're going to take a very, very quick break, and when we return, it is going to be teammates going head-to-head for the last slot to play at BlizzCon.